everybody. Welcome to another edition of Wednesday here on Chrono Speakeasy. I'm Paul, joined with Angela, Jay, Rob,
Hello.
and Will.
Hi.
How's everybody doing?
Solid.
Yeah.
I've like a week off of work starting today. Starting today.
That's
Lucky.
exciting.
I'm very excited.
You can do Black Friday stuff if you want.
If by Black Friday stuff you mean stay indoors and don't go shopping, yes.
But they have PlayStation 4s for $350
I feel like
with a
that's-
bundle pack. But you can do it on Amazon and get Star Wars Battlefront with it. So why bother going outside?
Exactly.
Fallout 4.
Eh.
I'm a PC guy. I'm one of those jerks, so I just buy everything on Steam.
You don't
think
always
I would-
have to be politically correct.
I think I would just buy a bunch of Blu-rays. There's so many Blu-rays I want.
That is true. There's
Yeah.
always a lot of good movie sales. Did Blu-rays just go up in price? Like, because I remember when Blu-rays first came out, they were all like way too expensive, and then they became like
60.
yeah, then they became reasonable. They were like 20 to $25. I wanted to pick up all the Marvel movies, and every one was like $30+, and I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
It
When did this
depends on
happen?
what you're buying.
How
Because
many?
like the Studio Ghibli ones are really expensive too. It's just like Disney stuff specifically.
And it depends on if like you end up with just the Blu-ray, or if you get a Blu-ray and a DVD, or if you get a Blu-ray, 3D Blu-ray, and digital download.
Oh, I know that stuff's crazy too, but like I feel like even that stuff was like the week it came out, it was around like $20. There's always that like 3 days at Best Buy where everything was $20. I can't be
You know
spending
what
$30 on a goddamn movie.
You know what I hate on Amazon? Like, so I was looking at that new Back to the Future box set that's like looks like the flux capacitor. So it was like, and I have an Amazon gift card I haven't used. So I was like, oh, well, if I buy this, I'll only like be paying like, like say $30, whatever. And then when I went to go buy it, it like jumped to like $95. And I was like, God damn it. Like, what happened to the economy where the Back to the Future flux capacitor box set like jacked up in price so quickly? Bastards.
I got the regular Back to the Future Blu-ray box set on an Amazon like flash sale one year for like $18,
That's pretty sweet.
and that was awesome.
That's a good deal. Well, as we know, November 20th was a very big day because it was the release of the Netflix second Marvel series, Jessica Jones. And needless to say, that ate up our weekend. So on today's episode, we're going to be dissecting and reviewing the first 6 episodes of Jessica Jones. So this is our special, a.k.a. Jessica Jones review special. Welcome.
Yeah, so if
If
you
you
have
haven't seen it yet, don't listen right now. Or you can listen because we're just so wonderful to listen to.
Either way, like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
But yeah, we're gonna spoil the shit out of the first 6 episodes. So
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So where do we begin? How do we even...
first 6?
Yeah, Rob hasn't watched it all.
Oh, shit. Okay.
yeah, well, we should
I
do a
haven't
part
watched
2
it
when
all
we're all
either.
done.
Yeah, so you shouldn't talk about the fact that Captain America's at the end. Did not see that coming.
The Chitauri
Or
come
that
back.
Ned Stark loses his head.
Well, I mean, like, she like wakes up and she's back in the 40s. That was just...
These are all things that I'd be
It was a hard
A-okay
time
with.
for women at that time too.
It was, yeah.
she-
But you know what, though, I like, too? Because it went back into the 40s, had a great Agent Carter cameo. Oh, man, that was awesome. Oh, that was episode 7. Sorry. Okay, first
Did we
6
start? Did we
episodes.
start watching The Flash all of a sudden? Is that what happened?
I don't know. I can't do the Flash
Yeah.
for reasons
too
I've
fast.
stated. But this show's damn good.
It
Jessica
is.
Jones
The,
is damn good.
the production quality is just fantastic.
I do have to say, I got like really depressed, like in my everyday life. I loved the show,
hmm
but I realized that that energy and those attitudes just totally like permeated my everyday, and I just found myself being like overly aggressive in my life for no reason. Jessica Jones.
She has that influence on people.
hmm
Well, it was weird because I told, because I saw Angela looking down and I was like, hey, smile. And she's like, you can't tell me what to do. Hey, I'm not trying to pull a Kilgrave here.
So did we all So I knew it was weird for me to watch this Jessica Jones because I've only ever really known the mom Jessica Jones in the comic.
I didn't know any of her.
So yeah, my background is primarily post Alias Jessica Jones, like when she was like a side character in New Avengers, and then when she was the baby mama with Luke, just hanging out.
See, my introduction to Alias and AKA Jessica Jones was pretty early on. Actually, I think it was Angela's sister actually who was like, "Hey, you buy this," and I was like, "Okay, please don't hurt me." And the rest is history. But yeah, it was really good because I think
Thing happened to me. That's how I got into it.
well, I think isn't the opening panel like it's like the word fuck. Like I think didn't you recently start rereading?
I reread the first 3 issues of Alias just to
I
kind of get familiarized.
I thought early on they like dropped the F-bomb to show you like, hey, we're a Marvel comic we're going there. We're going places.
Marvel Max is known for that.
Yeah.
Well, you explain what Marvel Max is for some people who don't know.
So Marvel Max is like a sect of like Marvel comics. It's not really much of a thing anymore. I think like Punisher is Punisher still Marvel Max.
There is an off and on Punisher Max, and they did that Fury series a while back. I think they kind of pick and choose when a creator wants to just make an out of continuity adult story kind of.
So, but yeah, that's basically what it is. It's out of like sometimes it's in continuity, sometimes it isn't, but it's basically a Marvel comic that is going to have like a lot of sex and swearing in it, which I kind of wish more of them were like that, but you know, can only dream, I guess.
The first word,
like my dream, I would love to make a Dazzler Max comic.
That would be pretty sweet.
Fucking bad. I like wrote some shit. I have it written out, but I'm not gonna put it on the internet because I like don't want to be like do fan art, or fan fiction. I want it to be legit.
But yeah, but so that's
Marvel will be like, make this real.
Just Garth Ennis's Dazzler.
Oh ew no.
I think the thing that kind of stands out to me from the Jessica Jones Mad Max was isn't it strongly implied she's doing anal with Luke Cage?
Yeah.
Which they kind of hinted at in this.
Yeah.
Was it the first or second
In the
episode?
first episode.
Yeah, the first episode was very, very like ripped out of the comic. I found.
Yeah.
Like, even like the way it opens when she throws the guy through the plate glass window.
Yeah.
and they lifted a lot of her best one-liners directly out of the comic and put it in here into the show. So like the when she's facing up against the lady with the mannequins who's like pissed about the Battle of New York, was it?
Yeah. Basically the woman whose mother was killed and
right.
she was like trying to seek revenge against the gifted people, as she called it.
Yeah, and then Jessica has the line about if you shoot me, I'll pull this bullet out of my jacket and then shove it up your ass with my pinky. Like that's straight out of Alias, and I love it still.
Well, that's good because like I think, if you had been a fan of Bendis previously, like, and you didn't know Bendis wrote it, you could tell it's such a Bendis book because of the dialogue, and it's really important that a lot of the Bendis dialogue survived the adaptation process and made it its way into the series. It was great. I think they really got the tone of the comic. As Andrew was saying, it's really kind of dark and gritty and depressing. I think they really kind of captured the essence of the comic very well. What did you guys think of the casting of Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones?
Early on, I didn't have much of an opinion because, like I said, I didn't really know the character that intimately compared to other characters. But I think she's doing an awesome job. I think all the casting pretty much across the board is pretty solid.
Kristen Ritter is great. I never pictured her as Jessica Jones, even when they announced it, but she just slips into that role so perfectly, and she's just the perfect amount of drunken, alcoholic, bitchy mess, and it's great.
She what's great I've noticed about her and David Tennant is that they do they do phenomenal acting in this because they're playing tricky parts. It's almost like walking a tightrope where you have Kristen Ritter who is playing tough and yet fragile, kind of keeping the balance between the two. And even with Kilgrave, you have someone who is almost like this sinister, creepy mastermind, but at the same time, he's also like a child. He kind of captures like this weird childlike.
Didn't grow up.
Yeah, like this childlike menace, just like very well. Like you ever see look at a kid like a 5-year-old, and you know that little fucker is up to something. They got that look. David Tennant kind of like has that look when you see him like thinking about something. Like it was just really great to watch over the span of those 6 episodes.
Mm-hmm. I just think that character in general is such a good pick. I mean, he's kind of the main bad guy for Jessica Jones, but it's such a good like TV villain because, like you were saying, he's kind of like so his powers are essentially, if for people who haven't watched the show and are listening to this for some reason, he just he can just control people's minds, kind of like a Jedi, which is exactly what I thought when I first saw him use his powers in the show.
Yeah,
it was just Return of the Jedi. But
it seems like it's the power of like influence, pretty much.
Yeah,
it's not really mind control because they're still like able to function, but it's just like, you want to do this, you're going to do this.
The power of persuasion or
he
something.
Maxed out his charisma score. That's really what it was.
Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting that like that like he tells you to do something and you do it, but mentally you're like, what the hell? Why am I doing this? Like you're it's.
You can't really fight it. You can't really fight what he tells you.
So I remember just reading the comic and probably for the first time in a long time being kind of genuinely afraid of a character because it was just what he was doing was just so like compelling and creepy. And I think David Tennant, I think he might be probably one of the best Marvel villains in the both cinematic and televised series. I mean, because he's just like so compelling, so eerie, so creepy without a costume, without there being any kind of CGI heavy powers. It's just really all about the presence and the acting. I don't know. I can't say enough how great he was. Well,
I think that so he's definitely better. He captures it so perfectly. The only person I can think of that I enjoy as a villain almost as much is Ward from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I think it's really just because he's gotten so much screen time that he just has the character development that it seems up to par. But what they did, especially with how little you really see of Kilgrave in these first 6 episodes, he's really more of a presence. And you understand how much this has affected Jessica for the past year, because since we're experiencing it through her, we see he's not even there, and we see the stranglehold that he has on her life still.
Right. You bring up a really good point about how he's his presence is kind of felt without really seeing him. And I was thinking about, okay, well, what are the strong Marvel villains? You had like Loki and I think Wilson Fisk and like Kilgrave and Ward. And what do all 4 of these villains have in common is that they've had the time to be set up. You got Loki's story from Thor and a bit with like Ward and with Fisk and Kilgrave. They've had a chance to really mature, but also kind of like, I guess, like percolate. So like especially with like Wilson Fisk, like you knew he was just this presence without even being out there. So I'm hoping in the future that's like a formula Marvel kind of pays attention to.
Yeah, because that's what I've always said the weaknesses of the Marvel movies is that they always have a villain that they introduce, try to fill out, and then they just die or fall off a cliff or something at the end, and you never fully get to like, I don't know, they don't ever get to grow. That's why I was kind of bummed at the end of Age of Ultron, how Ultron, well, I guess it's still slightly, they could pull a BS comic book thing and say Vision didn't kill him, but it was pretty clear that they kind of just erased him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's a big problem with Hollywood as a whole, because the viewers want the dramatic resolution. They want the good guy versus the bad guy. But I think a great example of it's so, I mean, people will argue with you if you say it's a good movie, but The Fifth Element does this fantastic thing where the hero and the villain.
The Fifth Element.
Yeah, The Fifth Element is a good movie.
Right. but you'll find
story.
You'll find people who debate it. I love it. It's a great sci-fi movie. And the hero and the villain never meet each other. They never meet. And that's such a great because then you just have them doing their own story and you get to see so much of it. And with Daredevil, Marvel really solidified that, where we're gonna spend so much time, we're gonna learn about what drives this character. And I can see that really similar formula played here, where it's like, so we don't need to drop the bomb of the villain. They're already affecting the world around us. Let's just show that and show how terrible they are before forcing you into meeting them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's working, and it's great. And it's because it's just dramatic storytelling instead of having to just front load everything and get it out in like the first 3 episodes.
Didn't they not even show Kilgrave's face until like episode 3 or 4, something like that?
I think so. I think in the first episodes, he's kind of like shadowy silhouettes and stuff like that.
With like the purple
They show the back of his head a
aura.
lot.
Yeah, because most of the first few episodes, it's all just Jessica's like PTSD flashbacks.
Yeah.
But I think the first time you see him is when he goes to that first apartment and kind of takes over the apartment from that family,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which is an awesome scene to introduce how like fucked up he is. Like,
Oh,
when
when
he
he-
put the
Oh,
kids in
yeah.
the closet.
Yep.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that was
Not
he's
only does he
just-
put them in the closet, he makes them like piss in the closet too.
Yep.
And like then basically says, dinner better be good or I'm going to kill you.
Mhm. Yeah, no, it's just so eerie. It's like it's such a simple power, but what like a powerful ability for a villain to have.
Yeah, and like just the worst person. It's always like having a really good power and giving it to like a horrible person is just it's writing gold. It's so good. But I love because I feel like so they really say that Jessica Jones is like a noir, but it really did feel like a horror. Like, I mean, because the things that she goes through, like suffering with PTSD and like this constant struggle that she has with coming to terms with what happened to her and knowing that it's not her fault, but she still totally takes on all that guilt is just really fucking crazy.
I think it depends on your personal level of interact or not interaction, but knowledge of PTSD and depression and all that. Because to people who have experienced that, they really get it. And it's terrifying because you empathize so much with what Jessica Jones is going through because it's written so well. And then for people who don't quite have that connection or the empathy to get that, well, then it's a bit more noir.
I think the great thing about the show is that it seems to be a lot of different genres. You know, like yeah, because like Willie, like I said, it's like a noir. It's a noir. It's like a horror. It's also kind of like this weird, dark, romantic comedy at certain points. You know, and yeah, it's kind of cool how it kind of it pulls off the juggling act very well. And speaking of the love story, I thought was it Mike Coulter?
Mm-hmm.
He was perfect as Luke Cage. It was like and I thought he would be good, but any slim doubt I had was gone. Like even when he said his own name, like "Who are you, Luke Cage?" I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, he is."
That
Awesome.
first Sweet Christmas was so satisfying.
Wait,
Yeah.
so what was episode 6? What happened in that one?
So episode 6,
Sorry.
I believe
Episode 6 is
ends
where Luke
with-
Cage shows up to Jessica trying to hire her to get him to find this brother of this lady he knows. So then they go off to find the brother. They have the whole interaction with the local mob boss, and then they find the warehouse with the weed. They find the brother, and then Jessica Jones and Luke Cage beat the shit out of a bunch of people.
And then Kilgrave buys her house, right?
Yeah,
Very,
Jessica
very
tries.
end, yeah.
Jessica
Well-
tries to get the guy back to the lady who filed for the missing person because she has evidence about who killed Reva, who killed Luke Cage's wife. And Jessica wanted to get it first to try to keep it from him. But then he goes to try to kill the alcoholic bus driver, and shit goes down.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've had to explain the big.
That Jessica Falcon punched his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he knows that
Yeah.
now. Okay.
Yes, he knows.
All right, I
that.
just want to make sure that I don't like jump ahead.
Yeah, that's basically where it ended, with Luke getting pissed, punching the bus, telling her she's a piece of shit, and then we have the Kilgrave creepy walking through the house, peeling the wallpaper back, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the creepiest ex-boyfriend ever.
I did love that scene of him.
Ex-rapist.
Ex-rapist.
Mhm.
Well, no, still rapist. He's still doing a lot of the raping.
Well,
He's just
yeah.
a fucking creep.
Mhm.
When he like made it so he had to buy the house, he couldn't use his powers to get the guy to sell him his house. He was like, "No, I want you to sell it to me, please. Why
Well,
do people
it's-
do this? It's so exhausting. Can't you just sign, please?"
It seemed that he was just like trying to turn over a new leaf, if anything.
I didn't see
Like,
it that
not
way.
use his power.
I thought
He
his
wants-
powers were still a little fuzzy from getting drugged.
I
So I
think
didn't know
he
how
just
long that lasted.
I think he just wanted to own that house outright.
Well,
I think that he wanted to have that control.
I actually
Well,
do think I
Like,
see
could
it
have
that
just
way.
made him sign it.
well, the way I see it, it was a manipulative ploy to be like, Jessica, the guy sold me the house. I'm not lying to you. There was an exchange, like, you know,
Mhm.
because because he was really trying to sell her on that, like, I'm just, I'm letting you choose your own thing, and I think maybe he was trying to use that because he did that before, where he was like, I didn't kill anybody. Like, I think he was probably using that as a way to kind of it just gives him more leverage to try to manipulate her down the road. Was kind of how I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Well, there's also the his powers could have been really fuzzy because he won that entire poker game with like using his powers. Just like, all right, everyone go all in. All right,
Yeah.
let's make it more interesting. Everyone fold. Good, my money. Put your
Oh my
head through that post.
that was rough, dude. Some of this, and that's the other thing too. This show was so gruesome, and the body count is so high.
The thing is, they never hit the gruesome level of Wilson Fisk smashing a dude's head into that car door, though.
No.
Daredevil, maybe
yeah.
past episode 6, but in the first 6 episodes, they don't get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daredevil had that guy shove his face through that pointy thing. Remember that?
Oh,
Daredevil
yeah.
was
That was
like
on- that was on, like,
weirdly
episode
dark.
2.
Yeah.
That was really early in Daredevil.
So, is there anything that were there any weak parts of the show that kind of like stick out to you guys 6 episodes in? Will?
The only complaint I have is that Netflix skips the fucking intro every time, and I want to watch it because it's beautiful.
That was a great intro.
Besides that, I have no complaints so far.
How
We
many
know- we
episodes
know what-
in?
What?
You can go. I was going to say how many episodes in does it start doing that when you start binge watching it? Because I've been watching it in 2-episode chunks.
So it skips it every time for me, and it makes me
Really?
sad.
Because I like that sometimes, like when I watch Arrested Development and it just skips right to the episode or something. But yeah, the intro is awesome. It just looks like the comic book covers. Just
Well, I was about to say, especially with it being kind of like the paintbrush strokes, I thought it was a nice nod to David Mack, like and his and his like his watercolor artwork that he did for the comic. I thought that was a good nod to him. I think the thing that really bugs me are the twins, her
They're
her
creepy.
neighbors.
yeah.
Oh yeah. They're-
God, they're annoying as shit.
They kind of just reminded me of the McPoyle twins from It's Always
Yeah,
Sunny, but a
it's worse
little
than the
less
it's
slimy.
worse than the McPoyle twins. The dude just walks
Well,
around
this-
in his diapers all the time.
He was in his underwear once
Yeah.
because they were trying to make a what was it?
Chicken cordon bleu.
Yeah, it's French. If you know what that is.
I love when she's like, "Get inside, you're naked," and he's like, clearly he's got a shirt on and some underwear, but just like, I mean, yeah, just annoying. I just like, someone stab her, like just.
Is one of them special needs? Because like one of them definitely seems special needs, and I can't tell which one.
I think sheltered is the right word.
Okay, that seems fair.
What the guy's Ruben, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Ruben
Something is
and-
definitely off
Robin.
with Ruben.
Yeah.
Ruben and Robin?
Yeah, I think so.
Ugh. Lazy.
No, Robin
parents.
is Joseph Gordon-Levitt at the end of Dark Knight Rises. This is Ruben.
Right.
But I think most of the like surrounding characters in the show are really good. Like Trish, who is her best friend, who I think is, from what I've been
Patsy
reading,
Walker.
yeah, Patsy Walker, but she's kind of
Hellcat.
filling the Miss or Captain Marvel role from
Yeah,
Aliens,
exactly. That's exactly what she's doing.
which is funny because she could just straight up play Captain Marvel.
Not anymore.
She really could actually.
She
Yeah.
looks just like her.
She's
But I
Then
think-
again, she's just a blonde actress. So
Well,
I mean,
but you know though, but having a street level character substitute Captain Marvel might be helpful in a Defenders run down the line. Have another street level like character without superpowers in there I think was a good move. And it was funny. It's like when I was watching, I was like, oh, Patsy Walker. Why do I know that name? Why? And then I had to like Google it and think, oh, it's Hellcat. That's cool.
mhm.
And I think I did some research that Officer Simpson is a villain in the comics.
I don't want to say anything because
Oh,
Hush up.
episode 9 is where they kind of reveal who he is. But
'Cause,
nothing.
Yeah, I was gonna say
No-
they start. He seems kind of sleazy.
hmm
yeah, he's another annoying one too. Actually,
Just like, we gotta kill him. We gotta kill him no matter what. You have your reasons, but we gotta kill this guy.
yeah, it's like shut up. I wish you fell off that balcony.
But then we have that whole also like
Yeah.
weird lawyer, like the Hogarth side plot.
I
with
love
the
her.
woman with her like affair and getting the divorce, and she's just like. But she's also what's her name? Iron
Carrie-
Fist's
Carrie-
lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Carrie Ann Moss is great as Jerry Hogarth.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That's a great subplot.
it is, and I actually like that they made the character into a woman because Jerry's obviously a dude in the comic, but yeah, it's I like how they kind of brought that subtle Iron Fist connection in with Hogarth and Carrie Ann Moss. She's great at the no nonsense characters, and she's great at no nonsense without even fucking saying anything. Just with a look, you're just like, okay, I'm gonna shut up now.
Hmm.
Yeah, just dicking around on her phone, then just like looking up at you like, I have better things to do.
And I do
Yeah.
like how Jessica just busts into her office like
All the time.
15 times.
Yep.
And every time
So
her
much so that the
secretary's just
secretary.
yeah.
I gotta say that first episode was so strong though, especially how it ended with the girl killing her parents in the elevator.
Mhm.
Like I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah. Oh,
I knew
God, that
something
really
bad
gave me
was
the
going to happen, but
chills.
as soon as she had that look,
When the elevator like opened and you just see her like with that grin with a little bit of blood in her hair, it just reminded me of like the Joker. Like it looked like someone who got like the laughing gas in her face.
Yeah.
So creepy. looking.
It was, and that was the thing. I think that's the first time I felt like eerie watching anything Marvel related. Just like, oh my god, the fuck.
I was just like, oh shit.
Yeah, no, it's a good oh shit moment, and I love
Next
to.
episode.
Yep. But I love that, like, and I think this is important that they introduced this early on, was that Jessica Jones had to fucking drag her out of that room because the girl was like, no, I'm supposed to wait. Like, I love when anytime, like, someone gets interrupted from what Kilgrave told them what to do, it's like they go ballistic. Like, no, I have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that and like it gives it a good like how long his powers can last too, because like she said it was 5 hours and 21 minutes, something like that she was just laying in the bed. So that it lasts a while.
Yeah. No, it's.
Yeah, it's like only time and distance can subside it. It sucks. That's like the worst. Oh my god. I feel like so bad for those characters. It's like oh god, it's awful.
I just have something too that I thought was kind of annoying about the show was, and this might be nitpicking on my part, was just the whole cockroach metaphor. Like, I get it, he's a bug that won't die.
It was a bit heavy-handed.
It did feel a little heavy. I mean,
Her
I mean-
hands are kind of small. They seem light.
but again, that might just be nitpicking my part because when I saw it, I was like, okay, Kilgrave is the cockroach.
Every good TV show needs some bug symbolism. We all remember the Breaking Bad episode with the fly. So
What some might call the worst
I
episode.
haven't seen Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. It's not as good as Breaking
Yeah.
Bad, but it's
I misspoke.
Breaking Glad.
I thought you said Breaking Blood.
I misspoke. But regardless, one thing that I like that the show does specifically is that even though she has super strength, she still is like a 115-pound woman. And they, even though she's strong, they can still push her back.
yeah, like when
And,
the
like,
women
pick
were
her up.
tackling them and stuff.
I like too that when she does stuff like, yeah, she's strong, but it still takes some effort. Like if she's like bending bars, she's like, like she can do it, but it's like it takes a little effort, which I think is kind of cool. So it's not like she's just like, I don't know, like Goku strong. She's just like,
also that she keeps like lying about her powers.
That bar fight scene was great.
That was, and I love like the look on Luke Cage's face when she's fucking throwing dudes.
And he was effortless. The way he fought was so great because he was just like, "What are you doing? I'm just gonna throw you."
I love when he just bitch slapped that guy's beer bottle and just shattered, and then he just whipped him.
Didn't someone try to like stab him in the neck and like the knife's like bent? I got goosebumps because I realized we haven't had a live action Luke Cage before, so it was so cool to see that.
Okay, one thing that was a little silly, the way Luke Cage showed his powers to her in her apartment, where he just has that table saw for some reason.
Oh yeah.
Where did that come
Well, her door was being fixed.
Conveniently. Why did they leave tools around?
Because she cut his leg in half when she busted the door open.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
That poor dude.
Shit. Damn, Will's out for some breaking blood.
I thought it was funny that like after Luke Cage and Jessica fucked for like with their powers, I guess. They're like being all flirty and shit like that. Just like, oh, do you think that your tough skin can stand me biting down on your thumb as hard as I can? Let's not try and find out.
Well, I love that he could. Remember when he tried to overpower her and like he couldn't?
Okay, I'm sorry. I gotta say, one thing that I really did love about the show were the sex scenes. They were so good. I'm like so sick of shitty sex scenes. So when I see good ones, I'm just like that first sex scene that they had, I was just like, oh my God, yes.
Or like how she's riding him on top and then the legs break and then they like stop for a second and then just go to fucking town again because they can't.
I love that. I love that so much. Like the sex scenes are really good.
I just think the whole chemistry between them is awesome.
Yeah. No, it's really well done.
I love Christian Ritter.
Christian Ritter is
being
great.
like, oh yeah, you won't be, you can't hurt me. It's just like, I might.
Yeah.
And then they just start going slow after that. Good sex scenes.
Yep.
Good job, Marvel.
Yeah. Who would have thought? Only on Netflix. And it's funny. It's because because I'm a nerd and I had to think about this, and I was like, oh man, it's funny how like Agent Carter, Agents of Shield, and fucking this show are all in the same universe.
Yeah,
where like
seriously.
Phil Coulson gets a hand cut off, and he's like, oh jeez, and then like people are like, what the fuck, and like Daredevil and like Jessica Jones, like it's a really interesting range. Like I keep thinking like, and again, this is like where the super nerd talk comes in. Like, oh, how would the Agents of Shield handle Kilgrave? Like,
Dude, I gotta say, like, I kind of wish that like Agents of Shield was just a Netflix show and it was good.
Well, it's funny because like a show like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Flash and all the shows, their budgets are like 10 times as high as these Netflix shows. But I think because of that, they try to do a lot, and then it ends up looking like 80% good and just looks cheesy. Whereas with these shows, they don't try to do anything crazy. Like the most special effect looking thing I've seen so far is her like jump up.
yeah. I think the thing that I really appreciate about Jessica Jones is that it sort of feels like, and this again, personally speaking, this sort of feels like it's like a spiritual sequel to Unbreakable, like because it's just so grounded in reality. There's no costumes. Like when I watch like her her fight, it kind of reminds me of like the scene that Bruce Willis had with the Orange Man, where it's no special effects. It's just like showing that Bruce Willis could take a beating because like that's his power. I feel like it had a lot of like Unbreakable elements to it, and I mean that in the best way possible because I feel like that is the unsung superhero movie of our time.
Mm-hmm.
Real talk.
Never seen it.
What? It's like, I mean, I can understand if you find out it's M. Night Shyamalan and if you've only seen his later work, but it's a good ass movie.
It is a
When did it come
great
out?
ass movie.
It is like
I love that movie.
A real good movie. Came out
When
in
did it
what,
come out?
2001 or 2? It's
Yeah.
before The Sixth
Yeah,
Sense,
I was
wasn't it?
10.
Or was it after Sixth Sense?
After it was his second movie, but if
I was 10 years old.
if Unbreakable came out now, I bet the sales would be very different than when it was back in 2002 or whatever.
I feel like the movie would be
there's
different though.
There's only like a couple movies that he did that I really didn't like, but overall I really liked M. Night Shyamalan's movies, and I know that's a really unpopular opinion, but whatever.
Well,
Fuck
I
the
think
haters.
it's his more like recent movies, like After Earth and the fact
The
that
Last
what he
Airbender.
did to friggin' Avatar.
Yeah,
Let's just not. You can't do that.
no.
Avatar, more like he fucked that up.
There was a live action Avatar movie. I thought that we were never going to talk about this again.
Right. So back to Jessica.
Yeah, no, that was just a misremembering on our part, Will. It's all good.
I thought of one thing that I dislike about Jessica Jones. The,
Wasn't there too?
the tilt shift scene transitions. They were awesome at the beginning, but by about episode 6, I'm pretty tired of them.
I like them.
I didn't even notice. I didn't know the word tilt the worlds.
Tilt shifts. It just reminds me of. Did any of you guys ever watch The Newsroom?
Yeah.
Did you on? I think it was the third season. The whole intro was all just like New York City in weird like stop motion. Well, it's not stop motion. It's all tilt shift, but it looks stop motion, and it just reminds me of The Newsroom every single time it has a transition. So in my head, I just hear the like theme song playing, and it's like, this is a good show.
You know what? I've wanted from Jessica Jones and Daredevil. They show it in the advertisements, but never in the show. But I would love to have someone walk down the street, and in the distance, you see like the Avengers Tower.
I was waiting for it when she was walking downtown Manhattan.
Like I
come.
just because they keep putting the Avengers Tower in the advertisements, but like I don't know, I want like a visual confirmation that you're not just pulling my leg, that it is happening in the same Marvel universe. Will.
I found some of the references to be a bit like strange just because it felt like they were trying to make them unique. Like the fact that Luke Cage referred to it as the big green dude and his crew. And
Right.
and
And she
that's-
calls Captain America the flag waver.
yeah, and it just felt like they were trying so hard not to say them by name, but also not to say anything that had been said before. And it just felt unnatural to me.
Well, I think it's weird because I think they're trying to say, "Hey, this show is awesome on its own merits," and that's fine. But also, don't kind of like insult their intelligence. Like we know that Matt Murdock is right around the corner. Which I thought was strange too because you have Murdock and Nelson. They're both lawyers, and part of Daredevil was the little lawyer versus the big lawyer, and then you have lawyers in Jessica Jones. I was like, I was waiting for a name drop or like something, because
Have you guys found any Easter eggs? Because I've been looking for Easter eggs like there's no tomorrow while watching the show. I mean, occasionally I'll get caught up, but I haven't found really anything.
I'm sure there are, but I was just kind of gobbling up the episodes as fast as Angela and I could, so I haven't. Who knows? I'm still not working, so I'll probably rewatch the show.
I don't think there's any in the first 6 episodes any like really heavy like inter Marvel television universe Easter eggs. It's more just there's a lot of like fun little winks at the comics and stuff, like kind of what we were talking about earlier.
And I feel like there's less opportunity than there was in Daredevil. Like in Daredevil, you got Gladiator and you got a slight hint into some of the Iron Fist stuff. But Jessica Jones is such a loner, and especially since we don't have the same backstory for her that we had in the comics, they just don't have the same breadth. So I mean, she really is at this point an entirely self-contained story, and really doesn't have any interaction with anyone else that could be around.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that like, maybe hoping's the wrong word, but I kept anticipating she would find some junkie and she's like, "Oh, what do you want?" And she finds like the steel serpent drug from Daredevil. And that's the other thing too, is to see, and I'm just kind of playing Mickey the Dunce right now because I've seen the whole series, but since we're only talking about the first 6, it's interesting to see the timetable of when Jessica Jones is taking place. We know that it's very post Avengers because they do mention the incident, but I'm curious to see how she matches up with the Matt Murdock timetable.
They haven't talked about anything Ultron as of yet, have they?
No.
No.
I don't think a lot
And,
of regular citizens would really even know the Ultron thing happened.
Uh,
Well, I guess the whole. Well, think about what.
An entire city going up in the air?
But that was in Eastern Europe. Think about how Americans today think about stuff happening in Eastern Europe. You don't. Like
I
if
call
something
shenanigans.
if
That's
something
like
happened
a
in
major event.
if a city in
Yeah.
Estonia blew up and you didn't know why, no one in the
A
U.S. would
robot
know.
makes a city fly up in the air. No one's gonna hear about that shit. I call bullshit. So
They're gonna cover that shit up.
I'm with Jay.
Yeah.
I gotta be in this day and age, maybe like 20 years ago, but not this day and age. There's too many people with cell phones, even in Eastern Europe.
No,
Yeah,
I
I
know
mean,
that, but I'm just trying to say that like your average person living in like downtrodden New York City isn't gonna talk about something that happened in Europe
I don't know. I mean, I'm not
when
particularly,
something
like,
bigger
news-
happened down the street.
I'm not particularly like news savvy, but I keep hearing about how like Turkey shot down a Russian plane. That's all I've heard about today, and I like barely watch TV. Like
I don't watch the news, and even I know about that.
like so I feel like with like especially in like the Facebook age, like I feel like even down to New York, someone
Social
like,
media,
"Yo,
yeah.
robot that fucking threw its city back to the planet Earth." Like
did you see Iron Man do something? It was neat.
exactly, because you know Tony Stark, he's got his own Instagram. He did like a selfie with like the city falling back down on Earth, and
Maybe.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I've been trying to like catch TVs and stuff like that, see if there's anything on that in the background to see if there's anything
you
like
know,
any hint.
I've
I
looked,
can't wait to like find out where Stan Lee is in this.
I've watched the episodes a couple of times. I've watched the first 3 episodes twice now, and I've also done. So I went in and I read the AV Club reviews, and they've actually had like a call out section for if there are Marvel connections, and there's been very few, if any. It's really been surprising at how few there have been.
You know what I've been hoping for? Like, 'cause I remember at one point she's in a corner store and oh, actually no, I think that might be getting it. I don't think.
The corner store.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. She goes.
Okay, good.
She goes into the convenience store to buy just like some bourbon, and the guy's
and she
on the
hears-
radio.
It's
Yeah.
Wild Turkey too.
Yeah.
Right.
Which-
So
For real quick, it's a week before Thanksgiving, and she's drinking Wild Turkey.
That's an Easter egg.
Also, there was no way that Wild Turkey was the cheapest bourbon they had.
yeah,
Maybe he only carries mid-shelf stuff, you know?
Yeah, but he had the they were talking about the Hope Schlottman case in the background of that scene.
I kept hoping like, oh man, how
Yeah.
great would it be if there was like a report of like some masked kid like on the side of a building? Like I kept waiting for a Spider-Man nod because
Mhm.
dude, you know the brick I would have shot that had happened would have been incredible.
Mhm.
Would have been amazing. Some would say
I still do like that whole
spectacular.
the whole little subplot with the woman who was trying to just kill her because she has a thing against the superheroes. I appreciated how there was that whole thing where she was talking about being downtown, watching like these superpower people destroy the city, and how there was
Oh,
like
yeah.
real consequences because of just the Avengers, which they went into in Daredevil too. That's kind of how the whole crime syndicate was trying to. Yeah, it was all
Yeah.
based around that. So I like how the bigger events are kind of feeding into the like plots of these smaller ones.
No, it's perfect because and I think you know they're all. I feel like in a lot of ways Marvel is making good on sort of the promise they made at the end of Avengers that this is going to have lasting consequences. I mean, I love that at the end of Avengers, there are people holding candlelight vigils. They're posting up signs for missing people. You don't really see that in a superhero movie like say I don't know Man of Steel. Like you know like I love that they you know that there's. Yeah, they're acknowledging that like it's not like we saw the aliens, we were off into the sunset. Like you're seeing people responding to the chaos and trying to rebuild, and I think it's and it makes sense that would leak into stories like Daredevil and Jessica Jones, where it's so focused on street level New York City.
Also, the scene where they're flashing back to Trish making the Jewel outfit for her.
Oh,
I thought that was awesome. I was just like,
I didn't know if that had happened yet, so I didn't say anything.
yeah, I think that was in either episode 5 or 6, but I was just like, That rules.
That was awesome, and it makes
The
you realize
mask.
too, like, wow, that is a ridiculous costume. Like, Jesus.
Just like I'm gonna have camel toe if I wear that thing.
Yeah, and I love that it's coming from Patsy Walker because you know, if she's all about superhero costumes, maybe we'll see her actually as Hellcat.
I would not be surprised.
She's just cosplaying one day.
Yeah,
She's pretty good at Krav Maga. She still got bodied by a guy
Yeah.
like twice her size. But I mean, let's be real. They'd be in different weight classes.
And he was
Yeah.
special forces, so he kind of knew what he was doing.
Yeah, she held her own.
Okay, she had bad technique. I'm just gonna throw
She's
that
still
out there.
learning.
She can't fucking armbar or like triangle to save her goddamn life. Literally, you don't pull like. She kind of had a triangle set up, but her legs were too far out, and she had to get her ankle underneath the pit of her knee, and she had to grab underneath the same side leg, and she would have been able to choke him out in 10 seconds,
Instead, she
regardless of size and weight.
instead she
And
got
he wouldn't have
choked
been
out.
able to pick her up. Yeah, she got rape choked, and like they teach how to defend that.
see,
Dumb.
and that and
They should
and,
have gotten better choreography for that fight.
and that's why Jay is a really important part of the podcast because he's like our fight expert.
Uh,
That too.
Huh?
She said
I
you're
got compliment.
she said you're adorable, Jay.
Yay!
Grandma, she said you're adorable. Jay, he
Now-
said you're adorable.
Now come over here so I can pinch your cheeks.
Oh God.
Oh,
But speaking of fights, I do think the fights in the show are fun and good. But compared to Daredevil, I just those were some fight scenes. That was some
Dude,
choreography.
those are supposed to be choreographed as like martial arts fight
yeah.
sort of things, and Jessica Jones is just like
Street
I'm
fight.
fucking strong. I got stone skin. Let's see how this works out.
Yeah. I think that hallway fight is gonna be that's gonna be a hard act to follow.
Mm-hmm.
For Daredevil.
God, now you're making
Yeah,
me want to watch
nothing's
Daredevil
probably
again.
gonna top that.
Iron Fist is probably gonna have some dope
Ooh.
fight scenes.
That
I
is very
can't
true.
Yeah.
wait for Iron Fist. You have no idea how
Mhm.
pumped I am for Iron Fist.
They actually just announced that the show is going on as planned. It's not a
Yes.
movie, I read, which
Yeah.
I'm happy. I like the way that these shows are going.
No, I think it's great, and I think you could do. Oh God, I'm just excited to see how they're gonna do it with like Kunlun and like the dragon and the flaming fist. Man, it's gonna be. You know what I really want? I mean, obviously we're gonna get Defenders, but man, I would love a little Heroes for Hire mini Netflix movie. It just that like Mike Coulter is Luke Cage, and whoever they cast as Iron Fist, man, it's just the two of them like on the streets. Oh my God, that would be awesome.
They should just do it as a spin-off movie because we have the TV show. So just do a 2.5 hour movie
Great.
of these two teaming up.
Yeah,
Do like a mini like Netflix original.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be
be
pretty
awesome.
sweet.
And I'm excited to see Misty Knight come up in Luke Cage.
Let me some Misty Night.
But yeah.
I don't know what that is.
So Luke Cage is the next show that's coming out, right?
Yes, and they're already well into production on that, which is great.
Nice. Or wait,
Well, he's jacked enough for it right now. I was like kind of skeptical at first with like the casting of him because like just seeing a picture of him.
Yeah,
And when he was just like shirtless, whatever, and he was just like jacked, but like not cut. And I was like, okay, yeah, he's
Yeah.
just a big fucking guy.
yeah.
but is Daredevil season 2 coming out before Luke Cage, or is Luke Cage coming out? I think Daredevil's coming out in this spring, isn't it?
I think it
think
is
so.
because they didn't waste any time on Daredevil season 2. But I know because I've seen pictures of the Luke Cage series, like and there's him sitting out front of like a barber shop, and so there's definitely out there. It's happening.
God, I'm
Yeah.
so fucking pumped to see the Punisher.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So-
And Elektra too.
So basically, the Netflix Marvel is just Max in TV form.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Because we get all
I
the
mean, Punisher
fun
had
adult
a Max
stuff.
with Warzone.
Punisher Warzone
Yeah.
was just like it's. I don't even know who produced
It was actually
that.
based off of the Max comic book.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
Yeah.
it was.
I'm just happy that we can have like a brutal Marvel Comics series where there's blood and people getting like their teeth knocked out and there's actual swearing and there's actual sex and there's like real world stuff happening in it.
It's funny because
10 sex.
this is like so much more dark and gritty and adult than like the DC movies where they're trying to they're like, oh, we're so dark and gritty, but they're not. They're like pretend dark and gritty, and since they don't show all the stuff that the shows, it just comes across as like whiny and like teen angsty and stuff like that.
No butt sex.
Will?
So I did some research. Daredevil season 2 and Luke Cage are both slated for 2016. Iron Fist and the Defenders still don't have any hint of a release date. So I'm guessing we might get Jessica Jones season 2, Iron Fist maybe 2017.
Well, last I heard, Jessica Jones, that second season will be after Defenders. The last I read anything, that was the consensus.
Okay. So
which makes sense.
I know I read something that Marvel and Netflix want to have 2 releases a year.
Where that makes total sense.
Yeah.
And 2's good. I think Marvel's been pretty good about like with their phase 2, like I loved how all the movies were like pretty much like 6 months apart. Like
yeah, it's basically right when I'm like, man, I could really go for some more Marvel stuff. I'm like, oh, great. There's some more Marvel stuff.
Well, it's great cuz literally in like 6 months we have Captain America coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Before
Like,
that, we have
well done.
Deadpool.
Oh, that's true.
That's not Marvel, but hopefully that's still really
It's
good.
Marvel enough,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Well, if we're just talking about comic book movies, there's just one every day, it seems like.
Well, who cares?
But as far as
Unless
Marvel
it's Marvel.
Studios go,
But I wanted to say too that I like that she named her detective agency like Alias, and that she told Trish that to like make her happy or proud or whatever, as like a hey, I'm making it on my own.
yeah. I kept thinking it'd be funny if like on her window it said Alias, and then in small letters like underneath it is like not the Jennifer Gardner show. Because I remember when that comic came out, I was like, I'm reading Alias. I was like, oh, is it like the show? It's like, no.
But
I bet
What
you-
if they got the writer for Alias on the door, and she was just like, yeah, they screwed the thing up, so I had to break it. It said like so and so instead.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That would
who
actually
wrote
be
Alias,
pretty-
sorry.
You know who I enjoyed too is the other not roommate, but her apartment neighbor,
Chunky friend?
Chunky
Malcolm?
friend.
Is it Malcolm?
Malcolm.
Yeah.
I thought you
Yeah,
said
Malcolm.
chunky friend. I was like,
No,
I like how
Junkie.
he's kind of just like in the background in a lot of scenes, stuff like that, just like drugged out, whatever.
But I like that it shows that like she's kind of annoyed by him, but she still goes out of her way to like make sure he's okay. It's like
Yeah.
I love how she's kind of like she's sort of like an anti-hero sometimes. Where she's like, the fuck, like I got shit to do, like drinking, and I gotta help your ass back to your apartment. Like I think that I like those moments in the show.
According to IMDb,
Well, like-
he was a Red Ranger in Power Rangers RPM.
Holy
I
cow.
remember Power Rangers RPM.
I don't.
As do
Right.
I.
You know, Will says
But
he remembers, but it's playing in the background as we speak.
The last Power Rangers I watched was Turbo. I think that was in like the mid 90s.
Dude, Power Rangers in
Turbo.
Space. Power Rangers in Space was the best Power Rangers.
actually,
but
yeah, I
that's
saw
all I'm gonna say.
Power Rangers in Space.
I
That was
fell
pretty
off
sweet,
after
though.
the Green Ranger turned into the White Ranger, and I was like, "Fuck this shit."
No,
Tiger
that was the
Zord
most
was
epic
sweet.
shit ever.
I have a Tiger Zord.
I had that too. I remember being like 6 years old and being like, this is a dope ass toy.
Got it for Christmas last year.
And you know what's funny? Like I could see little Rob, but with his adult voice, being, "Yo, it's a dope ass toy."
They're like, Rob, what are you talking like that? You're a little white kid living in Plymouth.
Remember the Transformer belts that they had? I think it was like a McDonald's or Burger King or one of those. And I remember begging to get a Happy Meal so I could like get that Transformer thing because I wanted to be the Pink Ranger.
I'm gonna be real with you guys. Power Rangers never ever did it for me.
I was only on the Power Rangers
their
bandwagon
own.
very short, like from age whenever the first season came out to 3 years after that.
Rob says that, but he has like a tattoo of all the Rangers like symbols going down his back.
Now I was trying to I had a shit ton of X-Men toys growing up. and Transformers. That was kind of my thing for a really long time.
9 or 10 when that came out, so I don't. Oh, it's probably older. Ew.
Can we get a Jessica Jones action figure? Can I get like
I am sure you can.
Can I get like a Marvel Legends Jessica
Just
Jones?
go on hobbylinkjapan.com and
Like
they
a
will
toilet
have.
and like a bottle of whiskey for on and
That would be amazing. Yeah, like it comes with like a camera. Oh, yeah, there's some
And
alcohol.
that's something I do enjoy seeing a woman portrayed like a freaking human being because chill in the toilet, get annoyed.
She's like not sexualized at all,
drink at horrible times during the day.
and she's just badass.
No, it's just how you do things. Being a lady.
Before we go too far past Malcolm, I like that they explained why he was in the background of every scene too.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's
Yeah,
taking the photos.
yeah, that was a good little twist. And I was kind of surprised that they launched that plan to like take on Kilgrave. Like when he gets shot by the dart, I was like, wow, this is happening a lot sooner than I thought it would.
Yeah, and I love how that all played out because you realize that Kilgrave's a smart motherfucker, and he basically was like, "Oh no, I was on top of this."
Yep. Yeah, like wearing the tracker and all that.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was good, but yeah, but
And he's making her take selfies of herself to send to him.
So weird and creepy.
Just like not natural pic, just like here's my other bitch face. Because obvious reasons, but
Well, she kind of has to smile a little bit, so it'll be like acceptable enough for her. Ugh, God, it's terrible.
Oh man, the way he just like weirdly smiles and like scrolls through the pictures, and he's such a fucking creep.
it's interesting. It's really weird. One thing I noticed even from the trailer is like the way he says her name is really interesting. Like it's
Jessica.
well, it's weird. Or when he's like, "Oh, Jessica," like like it almost sounds like he's talking to her the way he would a dog he loves very much, but like a dog that like he's taking ownership of. Like it's just like David Tennant. I mean, I just thought he was just masterful in this role. Where it's just like, holy shit, dude. Like, and I think it's great that he wasn't actually purple in the series. Like he has a lot of purple suits that probably made the Joker envy. But yeah, I was wondering if they're gonna tackle it. I mean, I figured they wouldn't, but I think it's obviously the smart choice. But I kept thinking like, I was waiting for if someone thought back to their moments with Kilgrave and in their memory he was purple, which I guess in some ways that's true with the purple lighting and everything. I'm just rambling.
Yeah,
The suits
great job.
were very fancy.
They are really nice suits, and I heard he gets them for free.
Yeah, that one scene where she's talking to that guy who was like, "This man made me give him my jacket, and it was expensive." And then she just like double takes and looks at what he's wearing, and she's like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
Yo, the dude whose kidneys got taken was fucked up.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was pretty dark.
And he's
And
just like
how
with the super overbearing Christian mother. Oh, that was creepy.
Oh yeah, when
the whole time just like kill me.
Oh,
Just like
God.
his mother won't let him see anyone else.
God, yeah, that was sad. That was just sad. Yeah, the show has a lot of sad moments.
Depressing, dude.
Mhm.
This shit is
I
depressing.
don't know. I try and keep an upbeat attitude as I watch it. Just like, oh hey, look, there's a cat in the background.
So, Jay, did you finish it or no?
No, I'm on episode 10. Like I need to watch it. I'll be done soonish when I don't have to work, I guess, on Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just like screw family and eat. I can overeat like by myself. I'm just gonna watch Jessica Jones. Sorry, guys.
I'm on episode 9. I should be done after this weekend.
like I said, I have a week off, so I'll probably be done by next week.
Okay.
Just in time for part 2 of our
so
show.
You guys can see how
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
depressing it gets.
Well,
Is it just like Requiem for a Dream? They
I don't wanna
all
say
get
anything yet.
super addicted to heroin. Fun fact, that's
I
someone,
mean-
that biker that hit Malcolm, and he's like, yo, watch where you're going, Wrecking for a Dream.
Oh my god, yeah.
I was like, what a weird hipster insult.
I'm on this bike every day saving the planet. What do you do?
So good.
New
But it is-
York,
but it-
Brooklyn.
Well, it was probably some
It
NYC
sounds
student.
terrible.
So it's
Like,
it's
do
Brooklyn.
people
it's the
actually
hipsters.
feel entitled like that?
Yes.
Or they can just like
Yes.
be like, "You're a homeless person. You're a piece of shit."
Yes.
People are assholes, man. They're fucking.
Well, like the thing
Assholes.
too is that like Malcolm isn't homeless. That dude doesn't know. He's got a home. It's not. I mean, it's not a great home, but he's got a printer.
No, people in New York City can suck.
Well, I was going to say that too. Like, how does he afford to live?
Oh god, Jay. That's probably the selling point. And his apartment comes with a printer. No couch or bed, or you gotta,
a printer.
say
There's-
heat and water isn't included, but you get a printer. Welcome to New York.
It was a nice printer, though, under his defense. Or
Yeah.
on his defense.
Good
Like,
quality.
A solid, like, photo printer. The ink alone is a lot of money.
Oh yeah,
so-
it's not a cheap price.
Mm-mm.
I know my shit with printing.
Yeah, I mean, did you see how many pictures Kilgrave was printing? That guy had to convince a lot of people to give him free ink.
Also, the quality of those pictures, that's got to be a pretty nice camera. We didn't even see that shit. That's how nice it is. They couldn't afford to put it on screen.
Yeah. Well, Kilgrave was probably like, you, give me your camera. You, Requiem, take pictures.
Mm-hmm. Like, here,
Well,
heroin
he got him
addict.
addicted to drugs,
Yep.
didn't he? That's
Yeah.
what they're saying.
Well, I guess that's how he could get him to come back to him.
Mm-hmm.
What I like that they did with the Malcolm character is that earlier on, like before he gets caught, whatever, he looks extremely drugged out and everything because obviously he is, but he's like crack skinny, which is appropriate. But in the end of episode 6, they like show him in the group and everything, and he's actually like gained a little bit of weight and he looks like a regular human being.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice little like, oh, over time he's getting better.
Right.
Mm.
Actual progression.
Little things of the show make it great.
Oh no, absolutely. It's the attention to detail, which I feel like the show definitely has. And I love the first time you see Luke Cage. What is it? He's wearing like a mustard yellow T-shirt. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. No, there's a lot of
They
great.
show him looking out the window. I know that.
Yeah, but he's wearing that T-shirt, and he's just thinking, "Sweet Christmas, I'm awesome."
I'm only two sweet Christmases into this series so far, and
As am I.
it's pretty good.
Oh, it's awesome. They're so well delivered, and it's weird because like you keep thinking, how is that line gonna work in a live action series? But it does, and it sounds awesome.
His freak out scene was pretty sweet too, when it was just like, you like touch me with the hands that killed my wife. You
Mhm.
let me inside of you.
Yeah,
Just like all sorts of stuff like that. Because like, I mean, he knows Kilgrave was at the base of it, but no one would not blame Jessica partly for it.
Mm-hmm. It's just crazy that we live in a world where there's a good Jessica Jones TV show.
right.
I know, what the
Like
fuck,
the fact
right?
that there's a Jessica Jones TV show.
Yeah,
I never
it's
knew her
really
before
good.
this.
Yeah, like there's people who are like heavily into comic books, and if you were like, "Hey, are you excited for Jessica Jones?" and like, who?
Right.
That's true because it's not like, hey, you excited for like, yeah, like for Jewel, like what? They're usually, I love that it's like like her real name is like the title.
Mm-hmm.
I'd heard of Jewel before, but like I didn't really know Jessica Jones at all. Just like as
Yeah.
a side character in video games and shit.
Mm.
Also, the Marvel Champions game had a Jessica Jones special, so that was some interaction with her. Of
Yeah,
just being
that was fun.
stone-faced to the summoner.
Yeah. That I thought it was cool that Marvel Champions like launched that like I think like the day like it was on Netflix and I was like, ooh.
Yeah, Hell's Kitchen special thing, whatever that they're doing right now.
Yeah.
Well, the Marvel Puzzle Quest game too. They did the female Thor before the comic book had come out, which was pretty cool too. She was a playable character in it.
That's cool.
How did Jane Foster get to the fucking moon?
Guess
We're
what?
talking about Jessica Jones.
They didn't explain that. I read the new Thor comic this week, and they didn't explain that.
They still didn't. They never will.
Nope. They explained why the cancer doesn't go away when she becomes Thor, which I thought was good. That was a really good comic. Everybody should pick that up.
No, thank you.
Okay.
So yeah,
And
is that it?
and-
Are we wrapping it up for this episode? It sounds
that's what
like.
it sounds like, bro.
So you read that this week.
I actually read a shit ton of comic books this week. I have a stack of like 30 comics left that have just because I buy like 10 comics a week and I read like 6 sometimes. So after like 6 months, I'm like, wow, I really need to read these comic books. And Newberry Comics is still having a sale. All Marvel comic books are half off.
That's pretty sweet.
So
Nice.
yeah,
I'm too Comicopia for, but I haven't spent money there still. So there's that.
No, when their DVD section was better, I got all of my fucking DVDs there because that shit was great, and my Blu-rays.
Mm.
I do miss that. Because all they have out here is just like Barnes and Noble.
and that's the
Ugh.
most expensive place in the world if you want to buy a movie.
At least you have
Yeah.
Amazon.
Although sometimes Barnes and Noble has Criterion collection sales, and you can get real.
They do.
sweet
They
movies for
have
cheap.
an insane collection or Criterion collection, but
Mhm.
other than that, whatevs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was reading a weird series called like Kiss Him Not Me, and it's about a chick that was fat and ugly at one point, and like nobody. She had like a few friends at school, but like nobody really acknowledged her too much or anything like that, and would just walk all over her. Then during Golden Week or summer vacation, she was just locked in a room playing like boy love games and stuff. And
Okay.
it came back to school and she's super pretty, but she already had like little theory things in her mind where it's just like, this guy should hook up with this guy. They're totally like together. So like they're trying to hit on her now, but she in her mind is just like, no, we can't have that happen. So it's kind
That
of
actually
funny.
sounds really fun.
I think it came out like last week-ish or 2 weeks ago, something like that. But outside of that, I haven't read dick. I've just been addicted to this fucking Marvel Champion game.
Is this just that phone
Thanks, Paul.
game you guys keep playing?
Yeah, it's a freemium game. I spent money on it because I got frustrated at one point. I gave into it. Fucking
You're giving
assholes.
in.
No, I deleted my credit card immediately after.
Not the account. You took your credit card and physically deleted it. You close your
Yes.
bank accounts.
I deleted it from my life. Every
Well,
time I learn the card number, I need to delete it from my life and get a new card.
Well, the game plan is Jay and I are going to start our own alliance and call it Chrono Speakeasy on there.
Aww.
Yep. I'm like 40 things away, but I have enough energy where I can start finishing things at 100% more. So
Cool. Fun. So then Janet can go
free
on
advertisement
adventures.
there.
Yeah.
Will,
So
aren't
once
you
it's-
playing it too?
What?
Will, aren't you playing it too?
I tried it and absolutely had no care for it and just stopped playing.
Oh, man.
We need more Chrono Speakeasy people.
I can't get into those
We need to
games.
set a team.
I can feel the companies trying to steal my money. If I'm gonna waste money on a game, it's gonna be Magic or Hearthstone, or I'm way back into Counter-Strike again, and I just can't help myself.
So I'm just gonna say this. I haven't worked since July, and I've been playing the game since August, and I haven't spent any money. There
Not
are ways you can play that game without.
Oh, I've
No.
been playing
But is it
Marvel Puzzle
fun?
Quest for like a year and a half, and it's still pretty fun. But like my team's getting too good at this point, so I just am bored with it. Like I was playing it while I was in Japan. It was my pooped game.
Puzzle and Dragons is like the biggest thing in the world in Japan. That's like all people play. It's crazy. Play real games,
So many-
people.
They have It's funny
People
seeing
work
like a
hard to make
business
big
guy
games.
whipping out a DS or like their smartphone and just playing games on it and shit while on the train.
I have like way too many games. I'm like, oh Jesus, Paul.
Sorry.
I'm playing a game on my phone right now, and he almost fucked me up. But I have way too many games on my phone.
Oh,
All right, so
goodness.
that turned into a weird
Does
phone
anyone else read?
conversation.
Did everyone else get to say what they're reading this week?
Angela,
I'm fine.
Uh,
Watch Jessica Jones.
Will, your audio isn't working.
Shitty job.
I did. I, like Rob, had a little too many things to read this week, so I'm trying to narrow it down into what my recommendations are. The new Carnage series is creepy as fuck, and it's amazing. So if you like kind of creepy shit, I definitely recommend it. Vader Down was a new #1 from the Star Wars series, and that's just like rebel fighters shooting down Darth Vader on some random Rebel Alliance planet, and they send like 4 squadrons after him, and I think he's just gonna wreck them all, and it's badass.
Cool.
And then Alias. I've been reading a lot of Alias and rocking it. So I'm getting Jessica Jones on so many different forms of media.
That's cool.
I also forgot to
I was gonna say,
mention.
with this series, it's more like Jessica owns.
Oh,
I also forgot to mention.
I'm such a dad.
I read Batman Europa. We were talking about that last week.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty fun, and the art is awesome. So I'm just gonna keep reading this just to look at the pretty art. Jim Lee and some Italian artist, I think, did this first issue, and I think the point of the book is they're gonna have a different European artist do each issue, which sounds cool.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm
like that
gonna
idea.
I'm gonna stick with this for a bit. And
Cool.
Dark Knight 3 comes out this week. So we're all gonna finally hear if this is good or bad. And I've been hearing it's not bad. So
Well, that's good.
yeah.
I have been reading some books because that's all I can read right now, which is good because I'm finally getting around to reading Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
oh, finally! You haven't read that yet?
No, dude,
Oh.
I know. So this is like a really good time to catch up on all the things that I should read, but it's so fun, and I love how easy it is to read. Like it's just you just fly through it. It's so much fun. It's definitely it's a really good pick me up. I'm really glad I picked it up because it's picking me up.
It's
you
so
should pick
ridiculous.
up Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Cool. So I just saw GameStop post a Black Friday sale thing real quick. I thought it was funny. They're posting PlayStation 4 $350 of Star Wars Battlefront, which is the same exact deal that Amazon is doing. It's free shipping also when they do that. But the only difference is that you get a free backpack with Star Wars. And they have another one for like 400 with Black Ops. And you get a copy of Destiny with it for. Oh, you didn't just continue on that bandwagon when that was a thing? Never mind. Sorry. It was like Carl on Duty Black Ops when it first came out.
Is the game called Black Ops?
No, it's Black Ops.
Oh, I was like,
So I just say it every time on purpose because
I was like, okay, it comes with Black Ops. Like,
it's
never
it's
heard
like
of that game.
when South Park came out with the fish sticks joke. I'll actually say, "Can I get some fish sticks?" instead of fish sticks.
Sorry, I
caught on.
snorted.
What are we even talking about anymore?
Yeah.
We need to end the show.
Sorry, it's me being weird.
All right, so everyone, please feel free to check out our content on chronospeakeasy.com. We're on Twitter, Instagram, we're on iTunes, Stitcher. Give us some ratings, give us some stars, give us some love. And for
Tell
and
all
have
your
a good
friends.
Thanksgiving. Enjoy
Happy
your turkey,
Thanksgiving.
enjoy your-
Turkey.
Watch Jessica Jones if you haven't.
Yes, and watch Jessica Jones. We'll discuss the second half at some point. Enjoy your TV shows.